Oh, my dear sisters, gather close. Let the noise of the world fade for a moment and listen, not just with your ears, but with your soul. Because there are things a woman must carry in the quiet corners of her heart, things she must not lay bare for every eye to see. Not because she is weak, not because she is afraid, but because the world does not always deserve to know the sacred depths of her being. She holds within her a strength that has been passed down through generations of women who have loved, who have lost, who have learned. And yet, my dear, there are pieces of her spirit that must remain hers alone. Not every truth must be spoken. Not every wound must be shown. Not every dream must be offered to hands that do not know how to hold it with care. For the world is not always kind to a woman who stands fully exposed. There are men who will take what she shares and twist it into something small, something fragile, something they can control. There are men who will see her openness not as a gift, but as a weakness to exploit. There are men who will take the light she offers and try to dim it so that it no longer outshines their own. So, my dear, this is not about secrets. This is about power. It is about knowing what to reveal and what to protect. It is about understanding that some truths are meant to be whispered only to the moon. Some pains are meant to be healed in silence. Some dreams are meant to be kept close until they are strong enough to stand on their own. There are 5 things, 5 sacred truths that every woman must guard with the strength of her soul. Not because she does not trust, but because she values herself enough to know that not every part of her belongs in the hands of another. Now, let me tell you something powerful. Lean in close, because this is important. Mark my words, for they may save you one day. If you hear nothing else today, hear this. There are lessons that come from love. And lessons that come from pain. This is one you must remember. A woman's fears are not just passing thoughts in the night. They are woven into her being, stitched into the quiet moments when no one is looking, carved into the spaces between the smiles she gives and the laughter she shares. She carries them like an artist carries their most fragile masterpiece, hidden, protected, unseen by the untrained eye. Not because she is ashamed, but because some things are too sacred to be held in careless hands. A woman's fears are deep, far deeper than she often allows the world to see. They are not just the small worries that flit across her mind, not just the momentary hesitations before she steps forward. No, my dear, they are ancient. They have lived in her blood long before she was even born. They were whispered to her by the women who came before her, women who learned the hard way that the world is not always safe, that love is not always kind, that even the strongest hearts can be broken if placed in the wrong hands. A woman's fears are not something to be offered up lightly, not something to be spoken too soon, too easily, too freely. Because when a man knows a woman's fears, he knows where she is most vulnerable. And not every man is worthy of that knowledge. Not every man will hold it with care. Some will take it and twist it. Some will use it as a tool, a weapon, a way to shape her into something she was never meant to be. A woman who reveals her deepest fears too soon may find herself standing in front of a man who does not comfort but control. A man who does not protect but manipulates. A man who hears her say, I am afraid of being alone, and does not reassure her but instead ensures that she will always be dependent on. A man who hears her say, I am afraid of being unloved, and does not love her more, but instead keeps her just uncertain enough to never question his presence. Oh, my dear, a woman's fears are powerful, and power in the wrong hands is a dangerous thing. But do not mistake this for secrecy. Do not mistake this for deception. A woman is not being dishonest when she holds her fears close. She is being wise. She is honoring herself. She is choosing to guard the most fragile parts of her soul until she knows, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they will be safe in the hands of the one she gives them to. Because there is a difference, my dear, between sharing and surrendering. A woman should never surrender her fears to a man who has not proven himself worthy of them. She should never lay them at the feet of someone who has not shown time and time again that he will treat them with the gentleness they deserve. A woman's fear should not be spoken out of desperation, not whispered in the hopes that they will bind someone to her, not revealed in the naive belief that love is about exposing every wound, every scar, every trembling shadow of. Love is not about bearing oneself completely in the hopes of being understood. Love is about knowing what to share, when to share it, and with whom. And the right man, the one who truly deserves to know her fears, will not need to be told every single one. He will see the way her breath catches when she is uncertain. He will notice the way her hands tremble when she is afraid. He will understand without her having to explain that there are shadows in her heart that he must never use against her. A good man, a kind man, a man worthy of her trust will never take her fears and make them his advantage. He will not use them to shape her choices, to bend her to his will, to make her believe that she must rely on to be saved. Instead, he will stand beside her steady and sure, not as a shield she cannot live without, but as a presence that reminds her she is strong enough to face whatever comes. But my dear, not every man is like that. Not every man is kind. Not every man will see her fears and want to protect them. Some will see them and think only of how they can use them to keep her under their control. Some will see them and think only of how they can weave them into the very fabric of her choice so that she forgets she ever had a choice at all. And that is why a woman must guard the depth of her fears. Not because she is afraid to be vulnerable, but because vulnerability must be earned. Not because she does not trust, but because trust must be built. Not because she is hiding, but because some truths are not meant for just anyone to hold. A woman's fears are not weaknesses, they are not flaws. They are not things that make her less than she is. They are simply parts of her, parts that have been shaped by her experiences, by her past, by the world that has tried to tell her who she must be. And a woman who understands that will never give them away carelessly. She will not let a man know that she fears being abandoned until she knows he is the kind of man who would never leave. She will not let a man know that she fears being unseen until she knows he is the kind of man who truly sees her. She will not let a man know that she fears being unloved until she knows he is the kind of man who loves deeply, fully, without conditions or cruelty. Because when a woman reveals her fears to the wrong man, she does not just risk being hurt, she risks being shaped by hands that do not know how to handle her soul. She risks becoming someone she was never meant to be. She risks letting her fears become the strings that someone else pulls rather than the shadows she learns to walk through on her own. So, my dear, guard the depth of your fears. Hold them close, not because you are afraid, but because you are wise. Reveal them only when you are certain they will be met with love, with care, with the kind of strength that does not seek to control, but to uplift. And if a man ever asks why you do not tell him everything, why you do not lay every fear before him like an offering, do not apologize. Do not shrink yourself to make him comfortable. Simply smile and say, because not everything sacred is meant to be shared. And oh, my dear, how powerful you will be. A woman's past is not just a collection of memories. It is a map, a tapestry, a sacred story written in the ink of experience. It is made of laughter that once rang through the air like music, of tears that fell in the silence of the night, of choices she made when she did not yet know what she knows now. Her past is filled with roads she walked, some leading to joy, others to sorrow. It holds the echoes of lessons learned, of battles fought, of wounds healed and unhealed alike. But my dear, hear me when I say this. A woman must never feel that she owes a man the whole of her past. Not all at once, not too soon, and sometimes not ever. Because not every man is worthy of carrying the weight of that story. Not every man will honor what she has endured, what she has overcome, what she has left behind. Some will take her past and use it against her. Some will hear her truth and twist it into something unrecognizable. Some will pretend to accept it, only to later wield it like a weapon, like a reason to shame her, like a means to control her. A woman's past is hers. It is her history, her battle scars, her lessons, her triumphs, her regrets. It is the foundation upon which she has built herself, but it is not an open book for just anyone to read. She is not obligated to lay it all bare simply because a man asks. simply because he is curious, simply because he feels entitled to know. There are men who will say, if you love me, you will tell me everything. But love is not about exposure. Love is not about spilling every chapter of one story in the hopes that it will bring acceptance. Love is about trust, and trust is something that must be built, not demanded. A man who truly loves a woman does not need to know everything about where she has been in order to love her for who she is now. A woman who reveals the whole of her past too soon may find herself standing for a man who does not see her for who she is to be. He may hold her past mistakes against her, measuring her worth by things that no longer define her. He may bring up old wounds in the heat of an argument, using them to cut her down, to make her feel small, to remind her of things she has worked so hard to move beyond. And oh, my dear, how painful it is when a woman realizes that her honesty has been turned into a weapon. How cruel it is when she sees that the things she shared and trust have been used to make her doubt herself, to make her question whether she is worthy of love. But let me tell you something. Her past does not define her. Her past is a story, yes, but it is not the sum of her worth. It is not a debt she must pay to any man who enters her life. She is more than where she has been. She is more than what she has done. She is more than the mistakes she has made, more than the heartbreaks she has endured, more than the roads she wishes she had never walked. A woman who understands this will protect her past like a treasure, sharing pieces of it only when she knows they will be held with care. She will not let a man rush her into revealing more than she is ready to. She will not let guilt or pressure push her into exposing wounds that have not yet healed. She will trust her instincts, and if something in her says, and not yet, not this time, she will listen. There will be men who ask questions that are not born of love, but of control. How many men have you been with? Have you ever made mistakes? Did you ever love someone more than you love me? Questions designed not to understand her, but to place her in a box, to make her feel like she must prove herself, to make her pass something she should feel ashamed of. But a woman is not here to be judged by the roads she has traveled. She is here to be seen for who she is now. She is here to be loved for the strength she has gained, for the wisdom she has earned, for the way she has risen despite everything she has faced. A man who truly loves her will not need to dissect every detail of her past in order to see her worth. He will understand that the woman before him is a masterpiece shaped by time, by experience, by growth. And even then, even when she finds a man who is worthy, a woman must remember this. Her past is still hers. She's not obligated to reveal every detail, every heartbreak, every secret just because love is present. Some things are meant to be left behind. Some things are meant to be carried in silence. Some things are hers alone, sacred, untouchable. A woman who knows her worth will not let her past be used to define her present. She will not allow anyone to make her feel unworthy because of where she has been. She will stand tall, knowing that every experience, good or bad, shaped her into the woman she is today. And that woman, the woman she has become, is more than enough. So, my dear, guide the whole of your past. Share only what you choose with whom you choose. And if ever a man makes you feel that your past is something to be ashamed of, if ever he tries to use it to hold power over you, if ever he makes you doubt your worth because of things you cannot change, walk away. Walk away with your head high, your heart steady, your soul unshaken. Because you are not your past, you are your present, you are your future. You are a woman who knows her worth. A woman's desires are not merely fleeting wishes. They are the very fire within her soul, the silent whispers of her heart, the dreams that call out to her even when the world tells her she should not want so much. A woman's desires are sacred, shaped by her experiences, her longings, and the vision she has for her life. They are not meant to be explained to every man who enters her world, nor are they meant to be compromised just to fit into a relationship that cannot hold them. You see, a woman's desires are often misunderstood. Society tells her to want less, to shrink her dreams, to settle for what is given, rather than to demand what she truly craves. But within every woman, there is a longing for love that does not diminish her, for passion that does not fade with time, for purpose that gives her life meaning. And not every man is strong enough to handle the truth of what she truly wants. A woman who openly shares the depth of her desires too soon may find herself in the arms of a man who sees them not as beautiful, but as burdensome. A man who fears the vastness of her spirit will try to convince her that she is asking for too much. He will try to make her believe that she should be satisfied with less, that she should silence the voice within her that tells her she was meant for more. A woman who desires adventure, who dreams of seeing the world, who longs for a life filled with new experiences may share this with a man thinking he will understand. But if he is small minded, if he does not see beyond his own limited vision, he will try to tether her to a life that does not fulfill her. He will call her restless instead of curious and practical instead of brave. A woman who desires deep emotional connection, who craves a love that sees into the depths of her soul, may reveal this to a man too soon, believing that he will cherish. But if he is afraid of emotional intimacy, if he is unwilling to meet her in that place of vulnerability, he will make her feel as though she is difficult to love. He will make her feel as though wanting to be truly seen and understood is asking for too much. A woman who desires success, who has ambition that burns within her, will celebrate her drive. But if he is insecure, if he measures his worth by how much control he has over her, he will not uplift her, he will try to contain. He will tell her that she should be satisfied with where she is, that she should not reach so high, that she should not outgrow the version of herself that fits neatly into his world. Oh, my dear, a woman's desires are not things to be given away carelessly. They are not things to be laid bare before a man who has not shown himself to be strong enough to carry them with respect. Because a man who is not ready for the vastness of her soul will try to shrink her, will try to convince her that she should be smaller, quieter, less demanding of life. And a woman who does not yet know her own worth may believe him. There are men who will ask a woman, "What do you want in life? What do you need in love?" But they do not ask because they truly wish to know. They ask because they want to measure whether they can meet her at her level, or whether they need to convince her to lower her expectations. A woman who is not careful will mistake a man's curiosity for sincerity. She will pour out her dreams, her deepest hopes, her wildest longings, believing that he will cherish them. But not every man will. A woman who understands her own worth will not reveal the depth of her desires to a man who has not yet proven himself. She will not explain her hunger for more to someone who is content with less. She will not let a man make her feel guilty for dreaming beyond the life he envisions for her. She will guard her dreams, not because they are fragile, but because they are powerful. And not every man deserves access to that power. A man who is worthy of a woman's desires will never make her feel that she is too much. He will not tell her to dream smaller, to expect less, to be satisfied with mediocrity. He will not see her passions as threats, but as the very essence of what makes her extraordinary. He will stand beside her, not in competition, not in fear, but in admiration and support, in unwavering belief in who she is and what she is capable of. But, my dear, until that man proves himself, a woman must be careful with the desires she shares. She must watch how he reacts to the small truths she reveals. She must notice whether he encourages her or subtly discourages her. She must pay attention to whether he listens with excitement or with discomfort. Because a man who cannot handle the depth of her desires in the beginning will not suddenly grow strong enough to embrace them later. And even when she finds a man who is worthy, a woman must remember that her desires are still her own. She must never lose herself in trying to fit into another's vision. She must never dim her own light just to make someone else feel more comfortable. She must never let love become a reason to abandon the dreams that were placed in her heart for a reason. A woman's desires are her compass. They are the fire that keeps her spirit alive. They are the whispers of her soul telling her where she is meant to go, what she is meant to do, who she is meant to be. And if ever she finds herself with a man who makes her feel ashamed of wanting more, who makes her question whether she is asking for too much, she must remember this. She is not too much. She is exactly as she was meant to be. So, my dear, protect the depth of your desires. Do not reveal them to just anyone. Do not allow them to be diminished by those who do not understand them. Do not let a man's fear of your vastness make you believe you should be smaller. You are not here to fit into someone else's limited world. You are here to build the world you have always dreamed of. And the right man who truly loves you will never ask you to shrink in order to stay. A woman's vulnerability is not weakness. It is not something to be exploited, nor is it something to be handed over freely to a man who has not yet proven himself worthy. Her vulnerability is sacred. It is the place where her deepest truths reside, where her rawest emotions live, where her heart speaks in whispers too quiet for the unworthy to hear. It is the doorway to her soul, the space where she lets her guard down, where she allows herself to be seen not as the strong, unwavering force she presents to the world, but as the soft, tender being she is beneath it all. Yet, my dear, not every man is meant to witness that sacred space. Not every man is prepared to hold a woman's vulnerabilities with care. There are those who will pretend to cherish them, only to use them against her. There are those who will mistake her openness for fragility and her softness for something they can manipulate. There are those who will hear her confessions of fear, of doubt, of past pain, and rather than protect her, they will file those truths away like weapons waiting for the moment to strike. A woman must guard the strength of her vulnerabilities, not because she does not deserve love, but because love, real love, does not demand full access before it has been earned. A man who is worthy of her will understand that vulnerability is a privilege, not a right. He will never rush her to reveal her innermost fears. He will never pressure her to lay bare the wounds she has spent years trying to heal. He will not take her trust and use it as currency, as something he is entitled to simply because he is present in her life. There are men who will ask a woman to open up too soon, who will push for her secrets before trust had time to grow. They will say, "Tell me everything." They will tell her that love means sharing without hesitation, that if she truly cares, she will strip herself bare before them. But love is not a test of how quickly one can expose their soul. Love is a slow unfolding, a careful revealing, a gradual deepening. Love is not a demand. It is a gift given in due time to the right person under the right circumstances. A woman who has been hurt before knows the dangers of premature vulnerability. She knows what it feels like to share too much too soon, only to realize that her words, her tears, her truths have fallen into the hands of someone unworthy. She knows the sting of betrayal when a man who once held her secrets in gentle hands suddenly turns them into weapons. She knows what it is like to confide in someone, only to have those confessions thrown back at her in moments of anger, in moments of power imbalance, in moments when love is no longer enough to protect her. Oh, my dear, how painful it is to realize that what once felt like safety was merely an illusion. How devastating it is to understand that not every man who asks for vulnerability truly values it. Some men do not seek vulnerability to connect, they seek it to control. They want to know where a woman's scars are so they can press into them when the time is right. They want to know where her insecurities lie so they can keep her tethered to them, so they can remind her of them when it suits them. But a woman who knows her worth does not give away the strength of her vulnerability so easily. She does not spill her secrets into hands that have not proven themselves steady. She does not offer her softest places to a man who has not yet shown that he will protect them. She understands that true intimacy is not built on forced confession, but on mutual trust. She knows that she has the right to keep parts of herself guarded until she feels safe, truly safe, not just in the presence of a man, but in the foundation of his character. A woman's vulnerability is powerful. It is the place where her true self exists, unfiltered, unmasked, unhidden. And a man who deserves her will never see that power as something to be taken advantage of. He will not push her to open up before she is ready. He will not make her feel as though she must prove her love by exposing her deepest feelings. He will stand beside her, patient and unwavering, allowing her to come to him in her own time, knowing that when she does, it will be because she truly trusts him, because she truly feels safe, because she truly believes that he will never use her vulnerability as a weapon against her. A woman who understands the strength of her vulnerabilities will not allow herself to be pressured into revealing them before she is ready. She will listen to the voice inside her that says, not yet, not now. She will know that her emotions, her past pains, her quiet fears, her silent struggles, they are not burdens, but sacred pieces of who she is. And she will not hand them over to just anyone. There are men who will try to make a woman feel guilty for withholding her heart. They will say, why won't you open up to me? Don't you trust me? Don't you love me? And a woman who is unsure of her own worth may feel pressured, may feel that she is doing something wrong by keeping parts of herself private. But let me tell you something, my dear. Trust is not built in a day, and love is not proven by how quickly a woman can make herself vulnerable. Love is proven through actions, through time, through consistency. A man who truly loves a woman will never make her feel guilty for protecting herself. And even when she does open up, even when she finds a man who is worthy, a woman must remember this. Her vulnerability is still hers to control. She does not have to reveal everything all at once simply because love is present. Some parts of her past may remain hers alone. Some wounds may never be spoken aloud. Some fears may be hers to conquer on her own. And that does not make her any less loving, any less open, any less worthy of love. It simply means that she understands her own power. A woman who guards the strength of her vulnerabilities walks through the world differently. She does not seek validation through confession. She does not mistake curiosity for care. She does not let her past wounds be used as a way to bind her to a man who does not truly see her. She walks with wisdom, with patience, with the quiet knowing that when she does reveal the depths of her heart, it will be to someone who has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he will never betray her trust. So, my dear, protect the strength of your vulnerability. Do not offer them freely to those who have not earned them. Do not allow a man's impatience to rush your heart into revealing what it is not yet ready to share. Do not believe the lie that love is about immediate exposure. True love, real, deep, unwavering love, is about safety, about trust, about knowing that when you do choose to open up, you'll be met not with judgment, not with manipulation, not with power plays, but with hands to hold your heart with care. And if ever you find yourself with a man who makes you feel as though your vulnerabilities are weapons to be used against you, openness is being turned into a tool for control. If ever you realize that your softest places are being exploited rather than protected, walk away with your head high, with your heart intact, with your spirit unbroken, because your vulnerability is not weakness, it is strength. And only the right man will ever truly understand just how powerful it really is. A woman's independence is her crown, her shield, and the foundation of her existence. It is not just about her ability to earn money, pay bills, or make decisions without permission. No, her independence is far deeper than that. It is the understanding that she belongs to herself first, that her happiness is not a gift bestowed by a man, but a creation of her own making. It is the unwavering belief that she is whole, complete, and worthy, regardless of who stands beside her or who walks away. But my dear, not every man is ready for a woman who belongs to herself. Not every man can handle the power of a woman who does not need him to survive, to function, to feel validated. Some men will see her strength as a threat rather than a beauty to be cherished. Some men will hear her say, I can take care of myself. And instead of admiring her, they will resent her. They will try to break her independence, not because they love her, but because they fear what they cannot control. A woman must be careful with how much of her independence she reveals to a man too soon. She must be aware that there are those who are drawn to her light, not because they wish to celebrate it, but because they wish to dim it. A man who is insecure in himself will not see a strong, independent woman as a partner. He will see her as a challenge, a puzzle to be solved, a fire to be tamed. And a woman who does not yet recognize this danger may fall into the arms of a man who wants her, not for who she is, but for how much of herself she is willing to give away. There are men who believe that love should come with dependence. They want a woman to need them, to rely on them for emotional security, financial stability, or a sense of self-worth. They want a woman who will look to them for answers, who will defer to their judgment, who will mold her life around theirs. And when they meet a woman who stands firm in her own power, who refuses to shrink herself to make a man feel bigger, they do not know what to do. Some will walk away, unable to handle the depth of her self-sufficiency. Others will stay not to love her, but to slowly break her down. A woman who is not careful will mistake manipulation for love. She will hear a man say, "You don't have to do everything alone," and she will believe he is offering partnership. But sometimes those words are not spoken in love, they are spoken in strategy. Because a man who wants to weaken a strong woman will not do it in one grand gesture. No, he will do it in small, quiet ways. He will make her feel guilty for her success. He will tell her that her ambition is admirable but exhausting. He will ask her why she works so hard, why she insists on doing things on her own, why she will not let him take care of her. Not out of love, but out of a desire to place himself at the center of her life. A woman who does not recognize this tactic may begin to soften, not in love, but in submission. She may start to second guess herself. She may begin to let go of the independence she worked so hard to build, not because she wants to, but because she has been convinced that true love requires sacrifice. And oh, my dear, there is nothing wrong with compromise, with leaning on a partner, with sharing life's burdens. But a love that asks a woman to abandon herself is not love, is control disguised. There are men who will say, "You don't have to prove anything," as if her strength is a performance rather than a necessity. They will tell her that she can rest, that she does not have to be so strong all the time. And while those words may sound like love, they can sometimes be the first step toward dependence. Because once a woman believes that her strength is optional, that she can hand it over to a man and trust that he will always protect her, she puts herself at risk of being led into a life where she no longer recognizes herself. A woman who values her independence will not allow a man to rewrite her identity. She will not hand over the life she has built just to make someone else feel more secure. She will understand that love should be a union of two whole people, not a situation where one person is made smaller so the other can feel bigger. She will not mistake a man's discomfort for genuine concern. She will know that a man who truly loves her will never ask her to become less than who she is. And oh, how beautiful it is when a woman stands firm in her independence. When she walks into a room, not seeking approval, not needing validation, but simply existing in the fullness of who she is. When she loves from a place of choice, not necessity. When she shares her life with someone, not because she has to, but because she wants to. That is freedom. That is the kind of love that does not bind, but uplifts. But my dear, independence does not mean isolation. It does not mean that a woman must walk through life alone, refusing help, rejecting connection, avoiding vulnerability. True independence is the ability to choose love without losing oneself, to choose partnership without dependency, to choose strength without fear of softness. A woman who truly understands her independence will know when to stand alone and when to let someone stand beside her. She will know that love does not mean surrendering her power, but sharing it. She will know that she does not have to prove her strength by pushing people away, but by choosing relationships that honor who she is. Yet she must be wise in how she shares that independence. She must watch how a man reacts when she speaks of her dreams, her ambitions, her ability to thrive on her own. Does he celebrate her? Does he subtly try to make her feel that she is too independent, too strong, too much? Does he admire her fire, or does he try to extinguish it? These are the questions she must ask, the truths she must seek before she gives her heart away. Because a man who is truly worthy of a strong, independent woman will never ask her to give up her power. He will not be intimidated by her success. He will not try to control her decisions. He will not see her independence as a threat, but as a gift. He will stand beside her not as her rescuer, not as her savior, but as her equal. And my dear, when a woman finds that kind of love, the kind that does not seek to change her, but to walk alongside her, she will know that she has made the right choice. She will know that she has found someone who loves her not for how much she needs him, but for how beautifully she stands on her own. So, my dear, guard the truth of your independence. Do not allow it to be diminished by those who fear it. Do not mistake control for care. Do not let the wrong man convince you that your strength is a flaw. Walk through this world knowing that you are whole, that you are powerful, that you are worthy of a love that does not ask you to be less. And if ever you find yourself with someone who cannot handle the full force of who you are, walk away with your head high, with your fire still burning, with your independence intact, because the right man will never ask you to put out your own light just to make him feel like the sun. A woman's strength, her vulnerability, her wisdom, her past, and her independence, these are sacred pieces of who she is. They are not to be handed over lightly, not to be given away to those who have not proven themselves worthy. A woman must guard her heart, not out of fear, but out of self respect. She must know that love is not about surrendering herself, but about sharing her life with someone who honors all that she is. And if ever she finds herself with a man who seeks to diminish her, control her, or use her truth against her, she must walk away. Not in anger, not in regret, but in power, knowing that the right love will never ask her to be less than who she is.